Hello, Scott here, and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. And today's box that we have here is something that was unexpected, something that I picked up maybe a week ago. And it's one of those that I would probably categorize as being part of my tabletop RPG midlife crisis. There's a lot of retro things that I do pick up, not to leave out the newer RPGs. I'm universally acceptable of just about every single RPG out there that either I pick up or is provided to me. So I don't really play favorites, but some of these, I am, according to the beard, a man of an advanced age. And also, with the birthday coming up to remind me of that, there are some times where certain objects out there that exist that I haven't held or seen in many a year, could be a decade, could be more, but regardless, a lot of those things are cost prohibitive, just because the retro thing is popular and what's old is new again, so on and so forth. And someone can just mention a particular object out there as being popular, and next thing you know, the prices skyrocket. That said, every once in a while, like I do, I will take a look on eBay and other areas, and I will get lucky. I was extremely lucky, for those of you who follow me on my Twitter account, that I was able to obtain a ridiculously perfect unopened, still in the cellophane box of Dark Sun, the role-playing game for 2nd edition. Pristine condition, and for those who were questioning, no, it definitely does not look like something that was re-shrink wrapped. The box itself underneath the shrink wrap is too new and unmarred in any way whatsoever for it to seem like it would be something that would have been re-shrink wrapped. No, it happens, but c'est la vie. But this right here, this is something that that I haven't seen in such a long time, and something that I was definitely looking to get. But this is one of those that is extremely cost prohibitive out there. And when I open and show it to you, I will let you know what the person that I bought it from said after I inquired about it. And after he said that, there was no question that I was going to grab it before somebody else got their muddy fingers on it. So without further ado, we have here our trusty Coleman camping steak knife. Obviously, I am a trained professional, and we'll go ahead and open this up and see what is inside. And like the other video, I'm still playing around with the new technology. I've got my, my little ugly mug down in the bottom left-hand corner here. And so until I get some sort of, some way to view myself here in front of me, I may glance to the left just to make sure things are still within camera, but that'll be fixed soon enough. So anyways, here we go. Let's go forward with the unboxing. And yes, everything does seem to be okay. So here we are. And, oh, there we go. And we got that. And still several months without injury. Okay. Let's set that aside. Now, I may be fiddling with this because I know this is way filling up the entire scope of the frame, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out here, set the box aside. There we go. Spin this bad boy around, put it right into the camera, and there we go. So, Planescape. The Planescape campaign setting, the original box set here, and for those of you who may be new to this, there's always someone who hasn't heard of Planescape or has never seen it. This was a setting for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition, and while I didn't spend a lot of time in this campaign setting, just like so many other people at the time when this came out, it literally was something that a lot of us considered to be fantastic and new, almost to the point where it was groundbreaking. The artwork stood out. The scope of what you could do within this game, just the whole idea of this was so different and new beyond what we had been playing in for so long. It took a different approach to your standard fantasy, your sword and sorcery aspect, and created a whole new world that was, different than Ravenloft and Dark Sun. This particular campaign setting, superb. And so many people love this campaign setting, and so many people wish that, when it comes to, the newer version of Dungeons and Dragons 5e, that this would be the one that would make its return in one way or another, just because of everything that's involved with this. Now, this is very expensive. Not this particular one that I purchased, but if you go out there and look for a decent box set of the Planescape campaign, it can go for absurd amount of money, 200, 300, $500, and so on, just depending on the scope. This particular person didn't put it up for a bid. They put it out there for a flat rate. This flat rate was well below any of those dollar amounts that I mentioned. The one thing is that they had shown a couple pictures of it. I had seen it. I sent them a question saying that, is this complete? And they sent me pictures of everything, and had followed up with the message of, yeah, I've been getting a lot of inquiries about this. It is complete, and I feel like that I had priced this way too low. As soon as I read that email, boom, I grabbed it. It's just, I feel a little bit bad for this person. I mean, but, collector's prices are fleeting. This particular box set could easily be worth nothing in so many years. Highly doubt it, but we all know how it goes with stuff. So what is inside the Planescape campaign setting? And generally speaking, what is it about? I'm not going to give a full detail of it because you can find far better people out there who have done their due diligence on telling you what the Planescape campaign setting is. You can look for them online. I'm just going to take a peruse through this particular box and, just kind of show you what's inside of it. And by the way, everything here is available for print on DriveThruRPG or DM's Guild for considerably less. So if Planescape is something that you're definitely interested in, and it is, you're one of those people who, feel PDFs are a tool, but not something that you actually want to sit down and read. You need a physical copy to read. You can get this in either softback or hardback there for, $30-$40 around there, and get everything that comes with it. So, all right, opening it up. And I don't think I have held this box set or the books herein, looked at the maps, and gonna age myself, but I think I've done that so many times now it doesn't really matter. Maybe 20 years, I think. I don't really recall exactly when this came out, but I'm sure we'll find out. So, all right. And the first thing we have here is, I'm just going to go ahead and set this over here. And there we go. Whoops. All right. Yeah, I really need something up in front so I can see what I'm doing. Because when I didn't have myself showing, my head was constantly on a swivel, as I was doing the top-down view, making sure, everything was in center. And you didn't see that. But seeing my head constantly going back and forth is not something anyone needs to see. But anyways, back to what we have here. So we have in the cage a guide to debatable Sigil, however way you pronounce it, fine with me. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to call it Sigil. So if you want to call it Sigil or whatever, doesn't matter. This is just how I'm going to say it. Yell at me if you want while you're watching this. That's fine. So in the cage, a guide to Sigil. Sigil being the major city within the Planescape campaign. Sigil is kind of like a central hub that people playing within this particular campaign would have access to, and this particular hub would then allow you to traverse to all the other aspects of the inner and outer planes within the Dungeons and Dragons universe, so to speak. A wonderful picture of the Lady of Pain. She is the ruler and end all to end all within the city of Sigil. Okay, so In the Cage, and this is by Wolfgang Bauer and Rick Swan. Yep, still in frame. So, being a guide to Sigil and the environs, both wholesome and vile, and being a true and accurate guide to the portals and pathways of the City of Doors. Another word for Sigil, including divers and various notes. I think that's what that says on the factions of the city and their goals and stratagems, and a faultless listing of the 6. Oh boy. Lords, maybe, and their establishments, and the secret history and intrigues of her serenity, of the 6 wards. Okay. And the secret history and intrigues of her serenity, the Lady of Pain. Right. So you can see here that the book itself it's starting to kind of come off here at the seam. That can be easily repaired. So I may be a little gentle with this as I kind of open it up. So, all right. So yeah. So Sigil was essentially a central location which has portals and doors. Not all accessible, but these portals and doors allowed for people from the various planes to congregate in a neutral area, but also gave you a way to get to other aspects of the planes without having to go through them directly, or take more roundabout ways to get there. The concept of the time was, at least for me, I mean, whenever I discuss something in the past, it's always from my own perspective. Everyone has a different perspective, so I am not the historian on this. Was that the inner planes and outer planes are always something, at least in our group, like a goal. There were the mystery of them all. That one day we would walk to the lands of climb the mountain of Mount Celestia, go to the 9 hells, make your way into the abyss, and access the various areas of Mechanus and whatnot. These were all stories that you would read in the various companion books and lore books and whatnot. But something that always seemed unattainable because it was always like a higher level character situation where you would access this. And, believe it or not, we didn't think otherwise, but we never even gave the idea of, well, let's just create high level characters and go have fun. We were kind of slaves to the idea of, nope, you start at level 1 and you go as far as you can. And if you don't make it, you start over. Do I have a problem with anyone, creating characters from any level from 0 to 100? No, I don't. That's one of those kind of hindsight things. But, we were young at the time, didn't know any better. And we always thought that TSR and Gygax was always looking over our shoulders, But anyways, so that's in a very, very basic nutshell what Sigil was, or is, I should say. So this is going to go into a lot of gazetteers of cities, the various factions, the things that you can do, the people you can speak with, and have your dealings and whatnot within this city. And one thing that, as I mentioned earlier, the artwork here, at least for my young self and my friends, was such a divergent path from all the other artwork that was being, that was provided in second edition. Second edition artwork, it took a change from first edition, and it wasn't, any worse or any bad. There was a lot of good artwork out there. There was a lot of recycled artwork, but the cohesive aspect of Planescape, at least to me, was just, I don't know, it was different, and I think it was supposed to be different. Like it would almost be like if once you got to Sigil, you would still be the same character, but even in your mind's imagination, you felt different. Your character would look different, almost like like the idea of like a living creature going into the world of animation. You're still a caricature of yourself, but you look different, you act differently, and that's how I always thought things were like in Sigil. And so this is going to go into quite a bit of detail, and it's written like a journal. Oops, sorry, got an itch at my nose. Excuse me, off screen. Woof. Hopefully, didn't have a hanger there. So if I remember correctly, this was written like from a first person perspective, a journal. So it's not. So you're going to see a lot of things that represent like paperwork and not paperwork, but handouts, official documents, and whatnot. Really kind of giving that sense of immersion as opposed to just reading a flat lore from a general from a general role playing game book. Is they're just kind of giving it to you. This is done from a different perspective to give a bit of flair and I hate this word, but I'm going to use it, flavor. So continuing on, wonderful pieces. Sigil was a place of neutrality, so you would often see people outside of Sigil who would be at each other's throats, have nothing to do with each other, or would possibly create a very chaotic and horribly violent situation. Here, the rule is that everyone had to remain neutral, from my memory. Otherwise, they would evoke the everlasting punishment from the Lady of Pain. So here, it just continues on, and here we have a menu from Fortune's Wheel. Yep, abyssal beef, roasted long and slow over our finest coals. Divine dog meat, quite quick seared in the fires of Baitor to a raw and bloody flavor. Hangman's ham served with spiced Aborian apples and Arcadian eggs, and so on. Okay, there's a map of the Fortune's Wheel. And there's obviously the prison. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of take great leaps and bounds because there's 4 books in this thing, and it's really unnecessary for this to last a long time. And we continue on. So, Hive Ward Ooze Puddle, yes, by Rupel. Wonderful piece. This is something that would be on the cover of a sword and sorcery book from the 50s and 60s. And continuing on, this lot of menus, a lot of menus along with the index. So this was one of the books in the cage, A Guide to Sigil, and the next book is the DM's Guide to the Planes. That's another wonderful piece of the Lady of Pain. So this obviously would be the book that if you're running it, that you would be wanting to read through first. Giving you how you would run this particular setting, how to carry yourself, because it's different. This you should things such as settings. I feel that if you're going to run it, you should at least try to give it as much as try as much as you can to provide what had inspired the author to create this setting before you start taking it apart and trying to make it your own. Nothing wrong with that, but certain things like tone and other aspects that at least you want to keep it in a general scope when you're running it, definitely within Planescape. Magic in the planes, yes. Obviously, magic works differently depending on the different planes that you would be traveling to. Priests. Oh, someone has a little note in here. Awesome. We'll just kind of keep that in here for now. And to and from the prime material plane, plane of earth, plane of air. So this is going to kind of give you the para-elemental plane of smoke. Yes, para-elemental planes. Quasi-elemental planes. Yes. Yes. Plane of ash. The plane of vacuum. Okay, so it's going to break down and give you a bit of information. Now, there's quite a bit of extra supplemental information for Planescape that goes into a lot more detailed aspects, but this is definitely enough to get you rolling. The different planes and the general alignments that govern them. And closing with Ysgard, the chaotic good neutral. So 3 aspects there. Next one we have. Okay. Still, yeah. sorry, a player's guide to the planes. And this is going to be something that you could, obviously, as a DM, you would want to read, but this you can give to your players to allow them to get into the character and realize the scope and what it is to be a player character within Sigil and conducting themselves there, and also familiarizing themselves, if they're there, with the denizens of the planes that normally, if you were just in any normal, we'll just say Forgotten Realms world, this would not be common knowledge. But some of these things, if you are a native or a frequent visitor to Sigil, that these things would become common knowledge fairly quickly, just as it would if you were visiting any city that was a central location of a cosmopolitan city, so to speak. And people central to Sigil: the Bleak Cabal, the Doomguard, the Dustmen, Fated, the Free League, Fraternity of Order, and continuing on, the Outsiders, and general faction benefits from them. So then there is a fourth book. Yes, a fourth book here. And Sigil and Beyond. So more information about the city itself here, and then this would be dealing with the outer aspects of Sigil, the Beyond, which you'll show in these the beautiful maps that hopefully I can fit on the screen somewhat. Continue on with this this wonderfully evocative art in here. I mean, not a lot, but the pieces, every piece in here is fantastic. In both their design and the sense that they're trying to give as they're being portrayed in here. I love this dragon with all of the hourglasses. Outlander effects of magic by ring. Yep. So yeah, so I mean, I am not a professional when it comes to Sigil. Some of these things ring a bell, some of them don't. As mentioned, I never really played exclusively through this. I know people who may have played years within it, but I just still the biggest thing I remember is just the effect that it had on me when we first saw this, and it still does today. It just really gets the imagination boiling and those creative juices just starting to come out, and just really want to either play within here or have others come and play in my Planescape sandbox. Palace of Judgment, yes. Different towns surrounding it. This is almost almost Freudian, in its look here. Like, this would be something that you would see in Froud's sketchbook. Information of the Lady of Pain. So, and continuing on, knowing the Cant. A lot of lore. I'm seeing now. Not you. If you may not have seen a lot of statistics, or a lot of ability scores, a lot of things in there. It's just immersive aspect of it all. The GM screen, and so here's all of the numbers and aspects that I was probably referencing. But it's been. I couldn't tell you right now what's what all is a. I know some things are obviously from the Planescape itself, but how much is recycled from the second edition GM screen? Because my eyes have not been upon something such as this in quite a long time. Excellent. And if on the front, yes, there would be the Lady of Pain symbol. And all right, I'm going to set these aside because I don't think that these maps are going to show too good on the way the camera's set up, but I will try to get them as front and center as I can. Yep, these are two-sided maps here. That's not bad. It can kind of gives you a general idea. So you'll see, kind of move that down. So you'll see there's Sigil, and then the outlands surrounding it. So of itself, even if you're not going to, the outer planes here, as you can see listed on the different access points here, that even the outlands themselves is going to provide you a wonderful amount of role playing just within the campaign setting itself. Over. Oh, I'm sure this is great viewing. Let's see here. So we've got the different towns. We got Torch, which is a gate town to the Gehenna. Sheila. Let's see, Per Uriel's realm. And we have the mausoleum of Chronopsis, and Bedlam. Yep, I'm sure someone's yelling at me. That's not how you pronounce it. These maps are in excellent shape. I should put them in a frame. And, okay. Let's start on this side here. And this is the Planescape cosmographical tables. So, for example, we've got Baator, which was the name changed to the Nine Hells due to the Satanic Panic. Thankfully, it was changed back. So technically, the 9 layers of hell are Baator. River Styx does run through it, as it does all of them. Layer 1, Avernus. Layer 2, Dis. Layer 3, Minaros. Layer 4, Phlegethos. Stygia. Malaboj. Maladomni. Cania, and Nessus. I don't know if in later aspects that they retain all of these names or not, but yes. And then you'll see that there's all of the other ones within the planes from the Abyss to Ysgard. The other side of the map, I'm just going to show the first half of it here because it's not all going to fit in. But so we've got the different aspects of the prime material plane, the celestial spheres within the plane, which technically is the whole thing in regards to a Spelljammer. The ethereal plane, which is the connection between the prime material plane and the inner planes, with the various elemental planes and whatnot, and their, quasi-elemental, sub-elemental, blah, 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 and so on. And then we have the outer planes, surrounding this aspect. I'm going to flip this over. And so they're broken down here with, going back up here. Yeah, so there's just another view of, Sigil and the Outlands and how they're all connected. It's the central hub of all of the outer planes here. And, whoops, did I show that one? I did. Am I missing a map? I thought there was 4 in here. Maybe I am. So maybe it's not as complete as I thought. But I could be wrong. I could have swore that there was 4 maps. So let's see here. So we have more information about I believe these are the different groups, occupying and functioning groups within Sigil. And then the back of this, we have the powers by plane, a guide to their known deity. So yeah, there we go. So once again, let's see here. So we have in Baator, oh god, I'm not even going to try, but a goblin god, Hecate from Greek mythology, Kurtlemak, the kobold god, Sekala, the Sahagin, whatever you want to pronounce it, don't care. Set, the Egyptian god, Takesis from Kryn, and Tiamat, dragon. So these are functioning deities within these realms. So you'll notice that, of course, Baator doesn't list any of the existing devils in there, because I believe at the time none of them had attained any sort of divinity. Asmodeus had not become semi-divine or divine within the lore as of yet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that happened until 3rd edition. Could be wrong. Okay, so that was 3 maps. I may need to look it up because I could have swore there was 4, but then of course there's the the monster supplement here, dealing with the specific monsters and whatnot associated with the campaign. And this was done in the 2nd edition style, but cranium rats, oh my god. Wow. That's been a long time since I've seen these. Huh. Oh boy, so this person has cut out symbols in order to communicate, and probably something they were running. I'll need to translate those to see what they are. Fun. Magman, which was kind of the minion of Set. Yeah, so different Modrons, yes. And still the artwork continues to be fantastic. Very better, or very better, is that a word? A lot of these so much better than some of the artwork you would see in the 3-ring binder of the Monster Manual for 2nd edition. And that's it. So I will just kind of gather these back up real quick. And throw them back in. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over on the back to see if it says anything about those maps. Let's see here. 4 poster-sized maps depicting the planes. Yes. So, I may need to try to find out which map is the one that's missing here, because I could have swore. I mean, Anyways, not the end of the world. The maps are wonderfully evocative, but not really necessary for running within Planescape. And the wonderful thing about today is I do own the PDF of the Planescape campaign setting, which comes with high resolution full-size maps that you can print. And if I need the map, I can always go to go to Staples, whatever, and print one out if necessary. But don't feel too bad, simply because of the price that I paid for this. So, but other than that, fantastic. I mean, this thing is definitely worth what I got for it. So I am not complaining too much about the missing map. Although, just kind of what I tell my kids, I'm not upset, disappointed. So, anyways, there you go. Kind of push that up a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can fix this. Put a nice little monitor there so I can see if I continue to do this. I don't know if I'm going to show my mug in every single one, but so there you go. That is just a quick little run through of what was inside the Planescape campaign setting for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition. Very, very quick, not really too detailed in the information I provided, but know that when this came out, it was you sat down in the corner and just tried your best to absorb the best you can. So there you go. So this has been yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. My name is Scott. If you like this video or any of the other silly little videos that I do for fun, go ahead and go ahead and subscribe if you like. Share them around. Do whatever you want. Fantastic. And so look for some more videos coming up soon. Going to be doing a little poll, a poll from the shelf on something specific that kind of a friend of mine recently picked up, and I just realized that I have that on my shelf, and I haven't even looked at the darn thing. So that'd be something that I can definitely look forward to going through in detail on here. And give a listen to Titterpigs, the podcast that I do with Keith from Rolling Boxcars. Excuse me. And check out rollingboxcars.com, where Keith and his other associates provide a lot of wonderful reviews and articles regarding tabletop role-playing games and other aspects of the gaming world. And I think that's about it. So hope you enjoy this quick little, breeze through of Planescape. And I am definitely looking forward to kind of looking at these things in more detail and maybe track down that missing map. Who knows? But there you are. So have yourself a wonderful day and hope to see you next time. Take care.